All right, my friends, I'm not going to be too long and inflict myself on you too long, but because this doesn't require a lot of explanation here. Um, but I'm here to say that as of now, from this day forward, Ontario Premier Doug Ford is dead to me. He's dead to me. All right? And there's nothing he can do in the future which will bring him back to life in my eyes. It's over. My support for him is over. My endorsement of him as a leader is over. I will never vote for his party as long as he is leader of it. It doesn't mean I'm going to vote for the Liberals or the provincial socialists we like to call New Democrats or the Greens. I will search another party which will probably have no chance of winning, but I'd rather vote for someone who has no chance of winning than to vote for someone who has completely lost his way and who probably never had his way to begin with, but is the biggest con artist that I've ever seen in Canadian political history. I will no longer support Doug Ford. My support for him is over. He is a typical politician. I noticed that for a long time, but as of now, because politicians will do what politicians do, but he has crossed so many lines that my support for him is over. There's nothing he could do. If he were to come out and say he was going to bring some great sweeping new gun laws which would allow gun freedoms, if he were to get rid of the income tax, if he were to give everybody $1,000, nothing he could do will make me forgive what he has done the past few months now with this Chinese virus. And it's not just because he has been overbearing and he has acted like a power-hungry politician using this Chinese virus, what people like to call coronavirus, as a way to strengthen his powers, using this crisis and hoping for a prolongation of this crisis in order to keep his powers in check, not just because he is trying to please a certain group of people in Ontario, what we like to call the establishment and the liberals and the media, even though they're not going to vote for him in the next election. He's just losing people like me who got him where he is today. I was a powerful voice for Ford Nation in 2018, and that voice is gone. And I encourage you to do the same. But it's not just that either, because that's the easy way. That most Canadian politicians are very weak people, okay? They are weak, especially on the right. They are just weak individuals. And I'm an independent, but the politicians on the right, they're just weak. If they sense a little bit of pressure, they'll jump and run. But it's not just that, but it's because Doug Ford is a hypocrite. Doug Ford is ordering, demanding people follow these Chinese virus guidelines. He has gone so far as to call people names who don't do what he says. He has gone so far as to call for people to be arrested and maybe even rounded up if they don't follow his rules. He has called for people to snitch on one another, so to completely divide this province at the seams, worse than anyone has ever done before, over this Chinese virus that's killed less than 1% of the population. But Doug Ford, twice that we can count, has broken his own rules. The first time, when everybody was told to keep your ass at home and don't get out unless you need to eat food, and even then you better don't stay out too long. He was in his cottage. When everyone was told to stay in one place, he was going all over, back and forth to his cottage. up in the north of the province. And now, when he is telling people to snitch on people who host parties of more than 10 or gatherings of more than 10, and especially when there's no social distancing, photos emerge of Ontario Premier Doug Ford attending a wedding of one of his MPPs, one of his caucus people, or some politician, or some assistant who works for him, attending a wedding. Nobody was wearing a mask. You can see the picture as the tag of this video. No social distancing, no mask. Everybody's close together. All this sort of. So he is a damn hypocrite. But yet he is calling people names who don't follow his rules. He's calling for people to be rounded up and arrested if they don't follow his rules. He's calling on people to be fined. He's telling people to sit down, shut up, and take it, and stop whining and stop. But he's not following his own rules. So Doug Ford is dead to me. He's dead to me. He says things that coming into Canada is a privilege, not a right. Coming into Canada is a privilege. He said that the other day. Well, unless you are an illegal alien, yes, coming into Canada is a privilege. If you're coming into Canada legally, the right way, following our rules, no criminal intentions whatsoever, you want to just spend money into our crippled and suffering economy, we treat you like we snub you. That's the Canadian, that's the sausage brain Canuck thinking. And everybody cheered Doug when he said, yeah, you stick it to those Americans who are trying to come into America when the border is closed. You stick it, acting like they're tough on the border. These sausage brain Canucks. Canucks have sausage brains, okay? Canucks are just, their brains are made of porridge and oatmeal and sausage. They can't think correctly. But when any time an illegal comes into Canada, oh, we must be kind to the illegal. We don't know who they are. They're just completely spitting on our rules. And they're not following our rules. They're not respecting our boundaries. They just come in here and most likely sponge off the system and sponge off the government. But we must be kind to them. That's the sausage brain Canuck thinking. But anytime an American is coming in here, want to spend his money in our economy because we've broken up our economy, and the Yankees are trying to pull us out of because we tore up the economy, and they're trying to help. Get rid of her! Sausage brain Canucks. Y'all don't know a damn thing about border protection. Y'all are a bunch of fools, sausage brain. And Doug Ford said it's a privilege, and we gotta get these people out of here. Talking like he's tough. But anyhow, an illegal... First of all, Doug Ford, he's weak on immigration. He's weak on... He hasn't mentioned anything about it. So he doesn't mention anything about the thousands of people who come in here illegally through Roxham Road in Quebec and make their way most likely into Ontario. He doesn't mention anything about that. But he's wanting to go and act like he's all tough on Americans. If it wasn't for those Americans, we'd probably be Haiti by now. We'd probably be Zimbabwe by now. They're probably our only hope. They spend money in this rotten economy that we destroyed. So Doug Ford is dead to me. I will never, ever support, and I mean it. And I'm encouraging you to do the same, patriots. If you are sick and tired of being disappointed by these politicians, especially if you're on the right, because I'll face it, even though I'm an independent, I admit that most of my fans are on the right. You all call yourselves some kind of conservatives. You all pretend like there's some difference between the conservatives and you all are still in that mode. You're still in the... So, okay, fine, I'll admit that. You all want to call yourself conservative, that's fine. But if you're sick and tired of being betrayed by these conservative politicians, if you're sick and tired of it, why not let's put a stop to it right now? And let's teach Doug Ford a lesson. No matter what this crisis, I don't know if it will pass anytime soon. But I can tell you this, it's coming to the point where we're going to have to start talking about taking up arms against our government. I'm serious, this is going to civil war. This is heading towards civil war. If they start coming at us with forced vaccines and locking up people who don't comply, like Theresa Tam wants to do, that is a declaration of civil war in my view. I'm already preparing myself for that, and I'm prepared to die and be locked up in order to take up arms against my government. But if you guys are tired of these conservative politicians, Andrew Scheer, Aaron O'Toole, Patrick Brown, who, he's another one. I'll talk about him soon. But if you're tired of these people just betraying you and stabbing you in the back, let's put a stop to it. Let's teach Doug Ford a lesson. Let's remind him who put him there. And those same people who put him there, we're going to take him out. Now, you're going to say to me, well, he's better than the Liberals. I don't see how he's any different from Wynne. In fact, to be perfectly honest with you, can I be perfectly honest with you? Kathleen Wynne, I think, probably cared more about the people of Ontario than I think Doug Ford ever has. I'm just saying. I mean, Kathleen Wynne was corrupt as all outdoors. But I mean, every decision that Ford has made since he's been premier has been to benefit those at the top, and at least Kathleen Wynne, Jezebel as I called her, with her corrupt self. I mean, at least she tried to give, free medical care for, children and up until 25 or whatever it is. I mean, so, and I don't want her back. She's corrupt as all other, but Doug Ford is not his brother. Doug Ford didn't get down and dirty with the people like his brother. Doug Ford doesn't care about the people. And this just proves how much of a hypocrite he is. And I don't want the Liberals in there. But Doug Ford, who has done nothing for the people ever since he's been premier, he's done nothing for me. He's done nothing for you either. You watching this, Doug Ford has done nothing for you. He's done nothing of note as premier. Okay, he shrunk the size of the Toronto Council, which I supported, but he has done nothing of importance. I mean, a lot of our freedoms that the federal government took from us, he hasn't tried to bring them back. He hasn't tried to completely abolish the sex education curriculum. He just kind of made it. I don't even think he really did anything of importance to it. I mean, the sex education, he didn't do anything for that. I mean, Doug Ford has done almost nothing. Doug Ford has really not done anything as premier. And all he has done that I have noticed now is he has been a hypocrite, and he has fallen lock, stock, and barrel with the globalist elites who have been using this virus to take away our rights and to give themselves more power. And I guarantee you, if a vaccine comes out, Doug Ford is going to try and force all Ontarians to take it. And if you don't take it, he'll put you in a concentration camp. So he's going to do some things that are no different than any liberal or socialist will do. So I'd rather get rid of him and have the devil that I know than the devil that I really didn't know. I didn't think Doug Ford would do this, and I don't know what else Doug Ford would do. So I want to get rid of him, and I'm going to but most importantly, we need to show these conservative leaders in Canada that they can't abandon the people who put them in office. They need to stop doing that, because there will be consequences if you do. And if you don't want to follow that, you so-called conservatives, you can continue being stabbed in the back. You probably like it. You probably are masochists. You probably like that BDS. You probably love it. And so if you love it, don't listen to anything else I have to say. But if you're tired of it, I'm doing this because I feel that Doug Ford has taken me for a fool. He thinks that I will support him 100%. I won't. It's over. I will not ever support Doug Ford or his party as long as he's the leader of that party. I won't do it. I will not do it. And don't call me for asking for money. Don't come to my door. Don't ask me to volunteer. I am not gonna do it. And you so-called conservatives out there who are tired of these politicians stabbing you in the back, I suggest you teach them a lesson. And you turn away from them. Vote for a Freedom Party, vote for the Trillion Party, vote for Liberty, vote for none of, there's a party called None of the Above. You can vote for them too. Vote for anyone else, but teach Doug Ford a lesson. Teach him that you are not going to get away with acting like a liberal. He was there slobbering all over Justin the tacky-head, tar-faced, swift-foot Mac Daddy Trudeau at a tape factory the other day. Slobbering all over him. How he's a great leader and Chrystia Freeland is a great leader and all these evil individuals who work for the Mac Daddy, they're great. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine Doug Ford? He literally is slobbering and worshiping the son of Satan, Justin the tacky-head Mac Daddy Trudeau. Can you? If that's not a slap in the face to us, to the Arana Nation, I don't know what is. I think when Doug Ford did that, he was deliberately trying to slap us in the face, and we need to slap him back. We need to slap him back. If you ever heap that much praise upon Justin the tacky and Mac Daddy Trudeau, who we have been fighting like dogs in the night for years now, and you just heap that much praise on the son of Satan, who I have dubbed him the son of Satan, you're slapping me in the face. That is a slap in the face. He's making fun of us. He's making fun of us, patriots. Doug Ford is making fun of us. So my relationship with him is over. It's over. There's nothing he can do. Even if this pandemic were to die out and he all of a sudden does all these good, it's over. I'm teaching him. You're not going to get away with this one and think that we're going to just forget about this when things are settled down. No, I'm done. Doug Ford is dead to me. I don't care if the devil himself runs against Doug Ford in 2022 and the pandemic is over and he does all the right things. I still wouldn't support him. Ever since you heap praise upon Justin the tacky-head Mac Daddy Trudeau and you tell and order people to follow all these guidelines and you don't follow them yourself, I will not support you. Never again. Never. 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 And I'm going to make a promise to God and to you guys. I swear that I will not support Doug Ford. Dear Lord, I swear that I will not support Doug Ford anymore. He heaped praise upon the son of Satan. He told people to follow all these rules and he doesn't follow them himself. Not once, but twice. I swear, God, that I will not support Doug Ford. And if I do break my promise and support Doug Ford, dear God, if I break that promise, I want you to throw me in the lake of fire. Dear God, if I break my promise to you and to the citizens of Arana Nation and support Doug Ford, I want you to throw me in hell. I will never support Doug Ford and I will never support a party that he is the leader of. This is the Arana Nation.